Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. It's Thursday, and yes, sir, it is time to talk some Major League Baseball. I'm Donnie Seymour, Jason Radowitz, and Kyle Purviance. We are the sportsbookreview.com Major League Baseball team. Feeling good here on a Thursday. Got a couple games in play that we're going to get to in just a few moments. Jason, how's it going today?
It's going better than it went yesterday. Those Diamondbacks, I told you they were going to get the ball in play, and they did. But they were out every single time. 2 hits, just 5 strikeouts the entire game. The batting average of balls in play was really low, something that didn't think was going to happen. So that was that stunk. But Kyle, on the other hand, got those Mets 14-1. They won that game. He had the first 5, so that was a big play there, and saved my ass today or yesterday.
There you go. Those Mets get blown out one game, blow out the Orioles in the next game. And I have to say, we talked about it on the show yesterday, Kyle. I didn't have any action in that Baltimore game, but my point was, if you're going to look me straight in the eye and say, I'm just going to fade Matt Harvey, I don't care what team he's playing, go ahead and do it, Kyle. Works every time.
Yep, every single time. And it was a nice, easy one. And the Yankees helped us out a little on the value menu. Phillies let us down just a little bit, but I hit a couple, hit some plus money.
Phillies didn't let anybody down, Kyle. So
yeah, they let me down. That was supposed to be my Chipotle burrito, but the other two were good. It was a nice day. And, we got some live games today. We already won a bet early on. We had the Dodgers minus 0.5 early on in the day, so it's starting off well. Looking forward to the rest of the show, folks.
All right, here's what I wanted to start off with, a quick topic here on Kevin Pillar of the Mets, who, if you're watching yesterday, led off his first at bat with a single, ends up with 2 jacks in this game. But that's not the question I want to talk to you, Jason, about on his performance. I'm watching him in the field. He has a mask on, covers his entire face. I'm like, okay, it makes a lot of sense. Hey, he got hit in the face with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. You don't want him to get injured. So then his first at bat, he singles. And I see him running down the first base line, and they focus in on him. He doesn't have his mask on. So let me get this straight. He didn't run full speed into the foul pole and crush his face, so he's going to wear it in the field, which would make sense. But he got hit with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball drilled in the face, but he's not going to wear it at the plate. Help me out with this, Jason. Help me out.
Yeah, my assumption is they have that little thing on the helmet where it kind of like guards you when you're on the left side when you're swinging. So I guess that's supposed to protect enough. I'm no team doctor, no trainer, so I have no idea what the best solution would be to going forward. But it seems a little silly for sure.
I have a question too. Hold on. Yeah, so dude gets hit by a 95-mile-an-hour pitch in the face, which is absolutely frightening and just terrifying. I would be crapping my pants if I'm in the batter's box. And now they're cracking down on the stuff that the pitchers use to have more control over the baseball. He's like, well, you know what? This pitcher probably has no tack on his hands, none on the glove. I just got mashed in the face. I'm not going to protect my face at the plate. Let's do it out. It's the weirdest thing I've ever. That's so bizarre.
I mean, what would the odds be here, Kyle? Like, you're going to get hit in the face again with a pitch or a line drive off your face out in left field? I mean, the probabilities are a little bit different here, but it was kind of interesting because I was like, oh, respect it. He's got that mask on. I say, now, wait, like, if you get into a car crash and don't wear a seatbelt, it's like, oh, I'm not going to wear one again because what's the – no. That's when you're supposed to wear. You're not supposed to have a seatbelt when you're eating dinner at your dinner table. You put the seatbelt on in the car, Kevin Pillar. I mean, come on now. But, hey, it's a fun topic to talk about, just some interesting stuff that came up in that Mets route. Let's get to some live in-game situations today. The Dodgers 4-3 right now, sitting over the Pittsburgh Pirates. That is a YouTube game. So if you can't find it anywhere, YouTube has it. But here's the question. You're not watching YouTube right now. You're watching us on YouTube. So forget about that game altogether. Brewers, Reds 1-1. Atlanta Braves, Phillies 0-0. Mariners and Detroit Tigers 3-2. Now, keep in mind also, I still think that Brewers game and the Reds game is in a rain delay. Jason, I'm going to come to you first. Out of these 4 games, did we have any wagers? Because on my list, I did have the Dodgers circled as a team total over 5 at minus 112 at the FanDuel Sportsbook. They're on their way with 4 runs, but obviously we can't give this out if we don't give it out on the show. I was looking towards that play. What are your thoughts on these games and any action in play right now?
Yeah, I'm sure the chat can relate with me. I had all these leans for all the day games, didn't bet anything. I like the Dodgers minus 0.5 in the first 5. I like the under 4.5 in the first 5 for the Brewers and Reds. That looks like it's going to have a chance. I like the Phillies in the first 5 on the money line. So right now we'll see they have a guy in second with 2 outs, but they can't lose that bet. Then I also liked in the Mariners-Tigers game, I like the Tigers in the first 5 at -115. Currently, they're up 3-2. But of course, like I said, I didn't put any wagers on any of these bets, so I'm sure the chat can relate with me. There are a lot of things that you like, and you just don't put money on it, and somehow all those games start winning, and you kind of look like a genius, but you also look like a dummy for not betting it. So those are my leans. Those are my plays that I liked in these games, and so far everything's kind of looking as planned.
Yeah, last night the Phillies took to their 26th out to score a run, and looks like they're headed there today. 15 outs, don't have any runs through 5, 0-0 in that one. Kyle, looking at these games on the card, because I know you've been known to fade Luis Castillo. Did you fade him today? And looking at some of these games, we'll see if that Dodgers game ends up getting over the total. But Brewers-Reds look like they're headed for an under in that one. Phillies-Braves looks like they're headed for maybe 1 run in the game. And then the Tigers 3-2 here with the Mariners. Any thoughts early on these games?
Yeah, so like I said, I got lucky, won that 1-1 with the Dodgers, so I'm just gonna leave that alone. I think I'm seeing a live total now, 10.5, -2.5 on the run line. None of that makes me all that excited, so you're right. Let's stay the hell away from that. I was close to fading Luis Castillo again. Last time I did that and I bashed on him, he went out and he looked like Roger Clemens in his prime. He was Pedro Martinez. Absolutely ridiculous. The thing with that is when it's Castillo and it's that Brewers lineup, I don't trust the Brewers lineup. So that one, that's going to be one of those things where we do the Donnie RightSide. Wait till the 6th, 7th inning.
Pays off.
Wait until that Cincinnati bullpen's going to have to pitch. We know it stinks. It's the worst in baseball. Maybe you get a low number and you live bet that there. And that's the same thing. Atlanta and Philly. I mean, these are 2 really bad bullpens. 2 of the 5 worst bullpens in all of baseball. So you got to think somewhere there's going to be some value in that game. And it looks like you're going to have 2 teams to choose from. So I might just wait and say, okay, who's coming up in the 7th inning for Atlanta? Okay, it's Acuna and Albies and Freeman. I like Atlanta. Then I'm like, oh, for the Phillies, it's, McCutchen and whoever the hell else they want to throw out there. That whole lineup pisses me off. So you maybe look for an advantage there. Who's due up, who's not due up, and attack those bullpens live betting that game. Detroit looked good all day. I think Detroit should hit today. As long as Sheffield is still in the game, they should hit. Of course, Detroit has the 2nd worst bullpen, so maybe you can get that same sort of value on Seattle. There's some interesting live betting options here. And we got 2 runners on now with nobody out.
Big error. Yeah, big error in that game here. It looks like it was going to be a double play ball, which turns into a 1st and 3rd with nobody out. So Detroit probably up on the deck trying to score. That's what you get with bad baseball teams. So even if the lineups don't look good, the pitchers aren't usually very good. Neither is the bullpen. And that's what you're getting today. Nice weather, it looks like, out there in Detroit, Seattle. We'll see how that game ends up. I believe 9-6 yesterday in that game is where that one ended up as well. So maybe getting some runs in that game today. But let's move forward here to some of the marquee games on the card. The Giants and the Nationals. Jason, I'm going to start with you first. DeSclafani on the mound for those San Francisco Giants coming east to play Washington. And if, just as much as we read time and the sun comes up each and every day, Max Scherzer seems like he's been good since 1977. Every time you just look up, it's like, hey, maybe it's the year he's not going to be good. XFIP minus at a 75, ERA 2.22, XFIP 3.06, Sierra 2.64. Whenever he's on the mound, you get the honest effort, and he dominates, it seems like. But you are going to pay a heavy price. FanDuel, -184, Jason. Offshore Pinnacle, -176. 8 and 7.5 on the total across the board. This is a good San Francisco team. Is this a buy low option where you might be able to get a really good shot on the Giants here? Or are you just saying, hey, Max Scherzer, I'll live to fight another day going against the Nationals?
The one thing the Giants do a lot, well, besides winning, is they strike out a lot against righties. And Scherzer, obviously, he's had a really great month and a half, and he's been striking out tons and tons of batters in the first place. And I think he does that against the Giants in this one. DeSclafani, on the other hand, in his last 52 plate appearances against lefties, 372 weighted OBA, ISO of 277, striking out under 20% of lefties, also walking around 10% of lefties as well. So in that lineup, you have Schwarber, you have Soto, you have Bell, and probably Alex Avila goes in and plays in that game over Gomes. So you have 4 lefties in there. That could do some damage. I would look at the Nationals -0.5 in the first 5. I would look at that and hope that those lefties can do some damage. Of course, there's guys like Turner and Harrison that are in the lineup that can, just make plays and just get on base somehow with their speed. So there's options there with the Nationals. I think they get the job done, at least score a couple runs versus DeSclafani, but you're going to see that mostly from the left side.
Yeah, because I mean, Scherzer's a great pitcher. You do have some really good balance here, Kyle, from the San Francisco Giants. Just looking at, again, it's all different. Like a right-handed Max Scherzer versus a right-handed tomato can out there that sometimes you see. There is a huge difference in that, but they do square up right-handed pitching. Take a look at Wade in the lineup: 428 weighted on base average, Posey 377, Belt 356, Crawford 417, anticipated as their first four in the order. What are you looking at today between the Giants and the Nationals?
Yeah, I agree with Jason. I think you ride the Max Scherzer train here. And look, he has dominated the Giants. The Giants lineup does look, they are good against righties, you're right. But when you just sort of look at his numbers and everything else added up, it doesn't look good. It's a .651 weighted 3-year OPS. This is a game where I do think the Nationals get it done in the first 5 innings, but I also like the no runs first inning on this. So I do like the Nationals lineup, but Jason's right. It's the lefties you worry about. In fact, the player in the lineup who has had the best success against Esclafani is Josh Bell, 9 for 23 lifetime, a couple of home runs, a couple of doubles. He's been hitting in the 5-hole. That's where I have him projected right now. I'm not sure if that lineup came out. But your first 3 hitters here, you have Trey Turner, minus 55% advantage. You have Josh Harrison, who's 1 for 14 lifetime off Desclafani, leading off. So the one you'd be concerned about is Juan Soto. He's had a couple of hits and 3 at-bats, but I think no runs first inning makes a lot of sense here. Sort of translate that over to the Giants. They're projected 1, 2, and 3. You're right. Wade does look good against righties. Solano, not so much. And Buster Posey, 2 for 15 in his career against Scherzer. So I would lean Nationals in the first 5 innings. I like that. I like Scherzer. You have to get creative here and go minus 0.5 to get that minus 135. Otherwise, you're getting minus 215 on the money line. Nobody wants that. So minus 0.5 if you're going to bet it. And give me a no runs first inning in this one as well.
Absolutely. And guys, thanks for checking in with us here on a Thursday. 86,400 people hitting that subscribe button. Thank you for doing that. If you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, come into the chat box and say hello when we go live. And also get in the contest here at sportsbookreview.com. $20,000 in Bitcoin up for grabs all summer long, and we'll close this bad boy out come playoff time in early October. There is a link just above the chat box where you see the highlighted SBR picks, MLB contest. Read all the information in there, but you don't have to read too far to say, hey, it's free to get in and enter. So do that. And also, if you miss out on any articles, you want some videos or how to be a better Major League Baseball bettor, there's a link below where we're talking right here, sbrpicks.com/MLB. Let's keep moving down the list here. Let's go to Boston. My only value menu wager play, my only play yesterday was on the Boston Red Sox, which getting 2 runs in the first inning, thought I was on my way to eating multiple Big Macs, but instead got Ugats. As they only scored 3 runs, he got blown out. Now, here's the question with this game. Eduardo Rodriguez leaking a little bit of oil lately, and we do know that red-hot Astros lineup lines up well against lefties, but if we take a look at Rodriguez, his xFIP minus is an 80. Check his ERA out, though, 5.59, but his peripherals, the xFIP number, 3.24, is still very good. Is this one of these games, Jason, where you say, you know what? I'm going to ride the hot bats here. They should be able to hit today once again in Boston and take the Astros. Because if we line the game up on how it looks, minus 102s, minus 105s, minus 110. So roughly a pick 'em out here with a 9 across the board. Greinke versus Rodriguez, Jason.
Yeah, now Rodriguez, his FIP or xFIP is 3.39 in the last 30 days. And that sounds really good.
Yeah.
On paper, looks great. 28% strikeouts and just 7% walks. All that's really good. But he's been hit extremely hard, and that hasn't stopped throughout the entire year. Right now, batting average of balls in play, it's 443. That's an average of 443. Like, that's ridiculous. Hard contact of 42%. That's where he's getting hit hard. So, yeah, he might get some strikeouts. Yeah, he might limit the walks. But against this Astros lineup that already got 6 runs off him earlier, just 2 weeks ago, they're going to go up against Rodriguez, and you have Altuve, Correa, Bregman's getting on base, Gurriel, Tucker, McCormick, Maldonado. They're all getting on base at a high rate against lefties, and they're not hitting ground balls. They're hitting hard shots. They're hard-hit balls, and that's what they should do against Rodriguez in this game as well. On the other hand, you have Greinke. Greinke, he's been excellent the last 3 out of 4 starts. He's went like 8 innings pitched. He's not striking out as many batters as he usually does, but that's what has really allowed him to go deeper in games. He's getting quick, easy outs and then stays in 8th, 9th inning and getting the job done there. And if you look at the Red Sox lineup, it's really the lefties that are doing any kind of damage versus the righties recently. You got Verdugo, you have Devers. Those two guys have done really, really well. Greinke against lefties, his last 39 plate appearances, weighted OBA of 100, .100, and an ISO of 0.00, as Donnie likes to say. So those two lefties might struggle just a little bit against Greinke there. I think Greinke has a really good matchup versus the Red Sox, and I'm sure Kyle will tell you how he's actually had success against the Red Sox previously throughout his entire career. So I do like the Astros at plus 101 on the money line for the full game. Again, plus 101. Shop around, get that best line. Got the Astros at plus 101 on William Hill. But anywhere around the pick'em, it's enough for me to take the Astros on the money line here.
All right, Milwaukee and Cincinnati has resumed now 1-1 in the fifth inning. Detroit tacking it on now 5-2 over Seattle. Looks like there's 2 men on still with 1 out in the fourth. So runs. Kyle, looking at this game and how they profile Boston Red Sox, you have a pretty good 1 through 5, but 6, 7, 8, 9 give you absolutely nothing. So you must do your damage at the top half of the order. But when you flip it over to the Houston bats, you have elite ISO power numbers versus lefties. You have great weighted on base averages. And one of the keys in Major League Baseball is this team doesn't strike out a whole hell of a lot against left-handed pitchers. So if the ball's in play in a small ballpark, you tend to get some runs. Your thoughts today on the Astros and the Red Sox?
Yeah, this is one where I just think the line is wrong. I completely agree with Jason. Greinke has been very, very good against Boston, and I'll just go ahead just for fun. I'll give you the last 5 fantasy totals for Rodriguez here against Houston. 7, 9, 0, 40. So he had one good start, and then an 8 in the last one. So this team sees the ball well off his arm. He obviously struggles against righties in terms of that hard contact, which is so important. Houston has their full complement of weapons. I expect Houston to roll on this. I took him in the first 5 innings on the money line at minus 102. That was simply for me because if this game is a little bit closer later on, Boston has had the better bullpen this year. Houston's bullpen tends to give up a few more runs, so I just went safe and went the first 5. And when I see I have 7 Houston batters in my DFS player pool tonight, I have 3 for Boston. Everything's telling me the Astros. We're going to get to that value menu here shortly. That's going to be on that value menu. Let's get some Taco Bell.
There you go. So line it up, knock it down. You do have a hitter's knob. Not as hot as it was the past couple of nights in Boston, but we're going to get to a game in a little bit here. That's first. I don't know if it's an error that there's a game up north at 96 degrees today, but hey, it is what it is, and we'll get to that in just a few moments. Let's hit the last game on the card, and maybe some of the luster is worn off here because looking at this line, 965, 966, Toronto and the Chicago White Sox, Ryu the lefty versus Keuchel the lefty. Across the boards, 9s with the total, but it's roughly a pick 'em, and this used to always be, hey, White Sox versus lefty, just auto fade it, get after it, let it hammer, but maybe not the case right now. And I hear Kyle laughing. Maybe it's because I'm very fluent in Spanish as well. But Jason, let's start it off right now. I don't the White Sox.
I wanted to test you like, okay, will you translate that for us, please?
I agree with the line. I think the Blue Jays are the better team. This is going to be a value play for me. The Blue Jays minus 115 in the first 5 innings. The White Sox are not an automatic wager now against lefties. In the last 30 days, 164 ISO, 317 weighted OBA with the projected lineup, also striking out 26% of the time. They do walk 11.3% of the time, but they're still hitting the ball in the air. They're still not hitting ground balls, but when you're going up against elite lefties like Ryu, it changes a lot here. We can even talk about the White Sox, their last 30 days. You have Mercedes, Anderson, Moncada. They're all hitting over 300 in the last 30 days, but just 2 home runs combined against lefties. And then the rest of the order, like Vaughn, Abreu, Grandal, they're hitting around 250. It's really the lineup, and I'm assuming that's going to be Garcia, Mendick, and Engel in the lineup as well. We'll see what happens there, but either way, I think Ryu bounces back from a really bad performance his last time, of course, against the Astros, who absolutely destroy lefties. The Astros are no frauds, but the White Sox, they might just be now. So with that, I feel like the Blue Jays will have 9 righties in the lineup, most likely against Keuchel. Keuchel, obviously a lefty that struggled a little bit more against righties throughout the last couple of weeks. And also, they're not really grounding out too often, are the Blue Jays, so they'll probably ground out around 45% of the time. While he's inducing 60% ground balls. We'll see what happens there. But if the Blue Jays can keep the ball in the air just a little bit more, they should be able to get some extra base hits and score some runs. So again, I do like the Blue Jays as the value play, minus 115 on the money line in the first 5.
Yeah, I don't do this much here, but every once in a while you got to bring it out. Let me make a quick phone call here. Yes, can I speak to George Springer? Oh, he's not available. Oh, well, what's the
where is this guy?
I never saw, like, I'm looking at this lineup, and all I keep saying every day is, boy, when he gets back in, is he ever getting back in? I don't know, Kyle, but take a look at today. You are getting the better pitcher from the left-hand side with Ryu. If we take a look at his seasonal statistics overall, they shape up pretty well. XFIP minus number 87. ERA, if you like that, 3.23. But look how it translates. 3.56 XFIP, 3.69 Sierra. You're usually going to get an honest effort out of him. Are you just going to say, hey, it's the White Sox, it's the lefty, I'll take a chance, or how are you approaching this game?
Yeah, well, apparently George Springer is running and more. So there we go. George Springer is running and more. Get the hell out of here with this. So this one hurts a little bit, right? This is the one that throws you off. This is like, you're a kid, your mom makes you bacon and eggs every day, and you wake up one Thursday morning and there's nothing happening, and you're like, wait. What the hell's happening? That's what's going on with the White Sox and the lefties. Normally you look at it, you look at these 3-year numbers, and you're like, yep, this is White Sox or bust. But no, looks like that has cooled off a little bit. Ryu isn't just isn't J.A. Happ, for Christ's sakes. He's a very, very good lefty. And Keuchel, on the other hand, he's been solid. Like, listen, Chicago's doing so well because Keuchel's a very solid 3 or 4 pitcher in your rotation. He hasn't been god-awful. He's not a world beater anymore by any stretch of the imagination. And I just think I'm going to trust Ryu a little bit more than Keuchel here. So I do agree with Jason. I have a slight little lean to Toronto as well. For me, I'm so confused and so emotionally distraught, I just can't take the White Sox against the lefty that I stayed away. It just, my little heart couldn't handle it anymore. But I would agree with Jason and lean towards Toronto. 6 hitters with a plus advantage here. Grichuk looks really nice too, and he's really, really cheap in DFS. He always is. Simeon has a nice little history here. He's got 11 hits and 40 at bats. Of course, Vlad smashes lefties, so I've got a little sprinkle on him as well. So for me, I agree it's Toronto. I officially stayed away from it, but if I was going to bet it, I'd lean Toronto.
Makes a lot of sense here. Philadelphia Phillies and the Atlanta Braves, top of the 7th inning, no runs, but it looks like Freddie Freeman just got on first base here against Zach Wheeler, who's been down. Zach Wheeler's been amazing this year for the Phillies, really a godsend, but you need to help the guy out with a run or two, which seems like they can't do it. Now, by the way, Cincinnati takes a 2-1 lead here as they head into the 6th inning over the Milwaukee Brewers. And just to get up some odds here, I want to take a look. Philadelphia Phillies live on FanDuel right now. The total for the game, not a team total, guys, the total for the game, 2.5 right now with the Braves with the guy on first base. So theoretically, once these bullpens comes in, if you get 1 run from the Braves, 1 run from the Phillies, you're cashing a ticket in that environment. So Kyle talked about that a little bit earlier, and it looks like the Dodgers now with a 5-3 lead. So if you did take
first
the
and second, one out.
There you go. So maybe able to cash that in. So it looks like you'd be free rolling the rest of the game. The 3 pitchers that I was trying to get after today, J.A. Happ, Chichi Gonzalez, which I'm going to talk about in just a few moments, and Mitch Keller, should be able to give up some runs. So let's get into value menu wagers today and see what we can find out. I'll go first in this one. And this is, I just talked about the 3 pitchers. Obviously, Keller's already on the mound. Dodgers look like they're going to get their team total. Taking a look at J. Happ, we're going to review that game in just a few moments on the odds lightning round. But I do want to center on Chichi Gonzalez here, 5.36 XFIP. But also, when you have to take a look at it, you usually say, well, you got to say with a grain of salt here because he does pitch in Colorado. That's why I like to use the XFIP minus because it takes the league look, but also factors in how you're pitching and where you're pitching. He's at a 120, one of the worst pitchers on the card today. That's where I'm going with the fade. Now, typically, it's like, hey, Donnie, Miami plays in a big ballpark. They don't have a great lineup. And you're correct on that. But when you're looking at a pitcher that you feel is underwhelming on the mound, I'm going to take the Marlins as a value menu wager at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Team total 4, minus 120. I think they can get the 5 runs. It's not so much about the Marlins lineup and how they present today against Gonzalez. It's just about Gonzalez. I think they can light him up here. We'll see if it happens today. That's where I'm going. Jason, value on the card today. Where are you going?
Yeah, like I said, I'm on the Blue Jays. Minus 115 in the first five. That's the one value play for me today.
There you go. Nice and quick. Ooh, how about that, Kyle? Saving up for you. You get all the play.
Yeah, you let me ramble on.
Where is
it?
Get
the hand. Now I can see the damn hand when you raise it too. So it's the whole thing. My Dodgers are already there. That was one of my plays today. I didn't when I wrote it down as my notes, I didn't realize it was the first game. I like the Yankees minus 0.5 in the first 5 at plus 105. You can get it minus 120 on the money line too if you want to give yourself the push there. Look, they were good to us yesterday. They got it done. All 9 hitters have an advantage of 11% or greater off a Hap. Aaron Judge, 5 for 11 lifetime, 2 singles, a double, 2 home runs. Hap getting smashed by righties, even over the last 3 years. A .808 weighted OPS to right-handed hitters, a full 40 points worse than he is against lefties. So I have I just did my official play. I'm a complete idiot. I went backwards, but I got the Astros first 5 on the money line. We talked about that game, and Judge home run prop on the money line. I'll get my shit together here and maybe go in the right order. So I guess I'll just repeat myself for our best bets and bankers. Rock and roll. Astros, Judge home run prop. There we go.
Yeah, they should be able to take off here. So let's get to the best bets on the Major League Baseball board. I don't have an official best bet and banker today on the card. It's a short one. Hopefully we'll be able to get back to it tomorrow. There were some really good shots. And I have to say, like, if anybody follows me on Twitter, I left the show yesterday saying, boy, good hitting conditions, and J.A. Happ is going to be on the mound. So I'm thinking I'm going to get at least a decent number. When did the Yankees turn back into the 1926 Yankees, where you got to get 7 runs for them to cash a team total? Can they get there? Absolutely. But if you're just going on statistics and not on, hey, guys, the last 3 games on the card, they look really good, they present ridiculously poorly against left-handed pitchers. So I'm just going to decide that, oh, yeah, the big guys back in the lineup, Judge and Stanton, are hammering again. Let me need 7 runs to cash in on their team total. I can't get down with that. That one was squared up, lined up. If I was getting a 4.5 with minus 145, I'd have been all in on that, saying, okay, give me the 5 runs. But 6s turn into 7s. I can't do that much. So looking at the overall card here, that was probably my best shot at it, which I'm going to have to pass. So I'm going to flip it over to Jason. Your best bet and banker here on the card. What's it look like?
Yep, we already talked about it. The Astros plus 101 on the money line for the full game via William Hill. So much value there against Eduardo Rodriguez, a lefty. So excited about that one. The one play, the official play of the Astros, again, plus 101 on the money line.
Yeah, Jake Burns. It's a sad day when Donnie doesn't have a best bet and banker, rarely misses. But see, this is why I hit it 70%. Like, we could be all day long and having fun and throwing money all over the place. But I know you guys turn into the show, because we're not going to just put stuff out there that, like, hey, man, I got to have 3 plays here to give some guys out here in the chat. That's not how it works here. When you come to the show, you trust us to say, hey, look what Donnie's on. Look what Jason's on. Look what Kyle's on. And here's why it makes sense. So when we line up games and tell you, like, look, it just doesn't add up. Trust me, if they're there, we'll fire. And I get excited and say, hey, play of the day. Let's get after it. Hammer this. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be back in play. But that's why you guys tune in, have so much for the show, and see our passion for Major League Baseball. We'll lead you down the path if we really like something here. Take it away, Kyle. What are you talking about here, best bets and bankers?
Yeah, it's very similar to you. I just shied away from the team total for the Yankees, but I do expect them to hit Hap. So minus 0.5 in the first 5, plus 105. You know, I was going to do the money line minus 120. If you want to give yourself the out with the push there, totally understand that the minus 120 money line is actually a really nice number for the Yankees off a Hap. So I'll go Yankees first 5 right there. Boom, boom.
All right. The odds lightning round today, and we are back on our full telecast here. So the Thunder and the Lightning will come into play. No need for Kyle, where we had to pay him an extra $3.99 for his ringtone there to jump in with a Thunder, Lightning, and crashing down. But let's have some fun and see what else is on the card today. Jason, I'll come to the game. My one value play I have on the card today comes from the Colorado Rockies and the Miami Marlins, 959, 960. Gonzalez versus Rogers. And I joked the other day, like, we were close to minus 200 on the Marlins. Like, no way I could take that. They actually covered it. Here we are again, the best team in baseball, apparently, the Miami Marlins, minus 200 against Colorado. It's really an indictment of how bad Colorado is, both lineup-wise, pitching-wise, bullpen-wise, and just an overall organization in baseball. I don't know if you can lay that number, but I do think the Marlins will score at least 4 to get that push, and maybe 5 or more in this game. What are your thoughts between the Rockies and the Marlins?
Yeah, and this morning I saw minus 250 for the Marlins. Now it's dropped down to minus 200. Eesh. That's more fair because, either way, though, like, I'm not paying for the Marlins anywhere in the minus 200 range. Dang. You can forget about it. So, if you can see plus 0.5 in the first 5 for the Rockies at plus 115, there's likely value there. But I can't recommend taking the Rockies in this game, especially on the road. They've been awful. But again, the Marlins offense, they're not great. Should they hit against Chichi Gonzalez? Of course they should. But you never know what you're going to get out of the Marlins. You never know what you're going to get out of the Rockies either. So this is more of a stay away game. There's better games on the slate. I wouldn't bother with this one.
There you go. So Jason just throws mud in my face, so don't even bother with it when I'm telling people to take value. Listen, I like it.
Exactly.
I got to respect.
That's why value is considered your official play.
Well, his official play is going to be live on Telemundo at 5 Eastern.
Yes. Tomorrow, I promise, I will leave this in. Esteban's behind the scenes here. He is going to feed me Spanish. Now, keep in mind, I come from a Hispanic family. My grandmother's 100% Hispanic. My mother, 50%. I'm 25%. I don't know a lick of it. I'm the type of kid that went to my grandmother and just said, hey, Graham, what are some curse words in Spanish? Like, that's the equivalent of what I know in Spanish here as we get after it. But let's go to New York Yankees and the Minnesota Twins, Kyle. 967, 968. The over-under is 11 across the board. And that tells you everything you need to know. The Yankees need 7 runs. Should they get it? Possibly, yes. And I keep checking the weather. And I see 96 degrees in Minnesota. The ball will travel. It should travel. They should hit J.A. Happ tonight. But it's, again, the price point of what you're willing to pay. I can't say, boy, this isn't Colorado. I need 7 to cash this ticket, Kyle. Yeah. What are you thinking about here between Happ and the Minnesota Twins and the Yankees?
I agree there should be runs, but I'm with you. Never in a. I don't even bet team totals at 5.5. That's not going to, like, 4.5s make me a little queasy. That's as high as I'm ever going to go. I don't give a damn if it's, hey, today, I'm pitching underhand to the Cubs. I'm not taking a run total of over 6.5. But I like the Yankees. Look, I know the Yankees have King on the mound. This is no world beater by any stretch. But the Yankees lineup profile across the board better than the Twins do. Again, it's my official play of the day. Minus 0.5 in the first 5 at plus 105. Don't mind the money line. Think that's safe as well. Yankees should smash. Love the Yankees in DFS. And again, I love that Aaron Judge home run prop. Plus 300. That's a good number when facing a pitcher like I thought it would be closer to 225 or 250. Plus 300 Judge home run. I think he gets one tonight. Give me the Yankees.
Yeah. Throw that left-handed slop in there, that 81-mile-an-hour curveball, and watch him. We'll go launch codes tonight. Last game we're going to talk about tonight, Jason. I'll give this one to you. Kansas City and Oakland. Kansas City, to me, is a really fun ball club, but at Kauffman Stadium, they look disastrous at times on the road, not being able to score. But also credit to this team isn't playing today. But the Angels, under the radar, making a charge here over the last 20 games. It'll be interesting to see how that holds up once Mike Trout comes back. But let's talk about this game. Minor the lefty versus Montas out in Oakland. A pitcher's ballpark, 8s across the board, 150 or higher, depending on where you're shopping at, towards the Oakland Athletics. Jason, give me some thoughts on this game.
Yeah, the Royals, like you said, their lineup, it looks a lot better on paper than it really is. They haven't really produced that often, and they have their hot and cold streaks throughout the entire season, which is really annoying when you're trying to bet them. Then you have Minor, on the other hand. He's given up some power to righties with an ISO of 188 in the last 102 plate appearances. Walks are a bit high, but look, he really hasn't been that bad either. I think we can maybe look at the under 4.5 in the first 5 here. I think I've seen it kind of firsthand when taking overs in Oakland. It doesn't really work out, especially in that ballpark. So I don't think we'll see many runs in this game between Montes and Minor, at least early. So I look at the under 4.5 in the first 5.
All right, there we go. Let's clear the bases before we get out of here, wrap up the show, and give our plays. Once again, for the good people out here watching in the chat box, once again, we thank you for doing that. Value menu wager for me today. I'm going with those Miami Marlins over 4 at minus 122. Jason, your value and your best bets, where are they at?
Yep, so value will be the Blue Jays minus 115 in the first 5 on the money line. And then we're going to go with the official play, the Astros plus 101 on the money line for the full game via William Hill.
There you go. Kyle, what do we got today?
Okay, we're going to take the Yankees minus 0.5 in the first 5, plus 105 on the value menu. We're going to take that Astros first 5 money line at minus 102. We've got the Aaron Judge home run prop plus 300. If you guys missed the NBA show, Chris Middleton over 22.5 points. Don't even get me started on the Austin Rivers prop from yesterday. Absolute. That guy is the poster child for birth control. That's all I'm going to say. Paul George over 23.5 points. Still think the Clippers lose, but Paul George has to do better than he did in game 1. And Bruce Brown over 1.5 assists. Way too easy. That should cash by halftime.
NBA action. It's fantastic. Tomorrow, full slate yet tomorrow. One afternoon game, St. Louis and Chicago, and then we end with the nightcap. How about this one? Dodgers head back home to face Fultonavich. So maybe some good games on the card today. And here's what I do like to see, because just prepping and seeing what we're going to have. There is a lot of undecided pitchers on the card tomorrow in baseball, which they're not undecided if they're going to put DeGrom on the mound, which he's going to start, or a Max Scherzer. They're undecided about which tomato can are we going to place on the mound to get lit up. up. So hopefully we'll have some fun on a Friday. But thank you guys once again for tuning in, giving us all the love and support right here on sportsbookreview.com for our Thursday Major League Baseball show. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz for Kyle Purviance. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck on those wagers tonight. We'll be back at it tomorrow.